Alright, so we are back to Modern. I've not been in Modern for a while, but this is the updated 100 ticket NIV list. There were some changes from before my little break. We were running Omnath, Locus of Creation. However, that card has significantly spiked. I'm assuming it's because of the increase in aggro decks. Maybe not. But this is the build that we're currently working with. So breaking down by colour, you'll see that we have Dovin's Veto for minor control with Dramatic Rescue. Dramatic Rescue is by no means not a good card, but bouncing a creature that's giving us 2 life is pretty relevant. The mono red Dragon Rage Channeler deck, Prowess deck, will go for 1 huge turn, sacrificing lands for Lava Dot with our swing in of like a 7-6. And just having something to bounce it back to your hand in response to just save you that damage is really relevant. Also, we can use it defensively, bouncing some of our other creatures. Excuse me. Vanishing Verse, excellent in the current meta. The biggest threats we're facing are small, mono-coloured creatures, Ragavans, Dragon Rage Channelers, Murktide Regents, things like that. Then we have Drown in the Lock as removal/counter for some of the spells you'll face in many of our decks, and a Tyrant Scorn, because basically here's the deal: if it's a huge creature like a Murktide Regent with Delve, we can bounce it back. 9 times out of 10 though, destroy Dragon Rage Channeler or Ragavan or creature like that. Its package is 2 Prismari commands. Very solid card. Destroying an artifact, not that relevant. Ramping us with treasure, looting to find more answers. 2 damage can be relevant if they're tapped out and we want to take out a small creature. Very good versatile card, definitely worth considering. Grixis Passage, we are of course running the Valkyrie Tybalt. Bring to Light synergy that still works in this deck, very solid. Kolaghan's Command to deal with some of the affinity. I'm not sure how prevalent affinity is at the current moment in time, but I'll find out when I go back into the matches. And then 2 Terminates to deal with low level creatures. Again, just having solid answers is great. Maelstrom Pulse, because a lot of threats are pushed together. What I mean is, we can pick off maybe 2 Dragon Rage Channelers or 2 Soulscar Mages. 3 mana 2 for 1 is pretty solid. Deadly Brew is another sack effect here. Synergizes very well with one of our later cards, the General Fortress Token Maker. It also can force the sack of a Planeswalker if we're in that situation. It's a very solid card. Still debating it, but I still do enjoy it and think it's pretty solid. We're running a full playset of Territorial Kavu, because in our deck it is pretty simple if you look at our mana base in a bit to get this on turn 2 to be a 5/5 or a 4/4. Fetch for a Triome, fetch for a Shock, or fetch for a Triome, play a basic land, and we can end up very easily with a 4/4 on turn 2. Pretty good blocker, also has some relevant abilities. Don't discount the exiling a card from a graveyard. If we can snipe the cards that are giving Delirium, like the Mishra's Bauble or their enchantment Seal of Fires, it's a very solid ability. Next is for Lightning Helix. Don't need to be explained why this is in the deck, with 3 different arts for some reason, because my deck thing. We're also running 2 General Ferris Rhetoric. I'm starting to think this maybe should be free of. This card is really solid in every format I've played it in. It is a real surprisingly fun card. One of the other insane things obviously is if you saw it in the Zoo deck before my break, you play this, and then you bring to light for another multicolored spell that's 8 power on the... It's insane. Also, if we General Rhetoric here and then Deadly Brew, he will produce the token before the sack effect, so then we can sack the token and return a spell from a permanent from our graveyard, which is really solid. Buying fetch lands and stuff. We also have Glittering Wish. I'm still a fervent advocate of Glittering Wish. I think it's a really solid in this NIV deck. I mean, we're pretty much going to run multicolored cards forever, so it makes sense. Then we have our standard 7-card split of Bring to Lights and NIV Mizzets. We also have 25 lands. We'll go over them in detail, you can see them here. And then we'll move into our sideboard. We are running Gigantha's Companion. we sort these by colour. You see that we're only one Azorius charm. Very relevant because of the attacking creature ability and life gain, very relevant, and drawing a card, never not relevant. It's surprisingly versatile. As a sideboard card, very solid. We're also running D-Spark for more of our big mana decks. Fracture is Planeswalker enchantment in hate, very solid. Another Tyrant Scorn because we're going to run into more creature decks, I feel, moving forward. One more Digo for combo decks, although I have no idea what combo decks are currently in the meta, I'll have to research. Notion Thief to deal with control decks or big advantage decks. We can also do a neat trick I saw Magic Aids do when we can flash this in at the end of turn, then Prismari command and force our opponent to draw discard 2, but obviously Notion Thief will cancel that out. Is it Charm, good all round spell, been around before. Reckless Charm for graveyard hate and artifact removal. Dreadball, more planeswalker creature removal. Culling Ritual, solid card for go wide strategies like the affinity decks, if they're still around. What you can for needs no explanation. Definitely Clarion to deal with mini creatures and give lifelink, which might be relevant because we will probably end up with a large board of 4/4s from the general. And finally, Rip Apart, just a solid, good answer to a lot of the spells and enchantments and things that we'll run into. But yeah, that's the current tech of the deck. I did do one quick test game where we went up against Mono Red. I might add it at the end of this to just show you, but I will probably have no commentary over it.